Welp, here we go again. After years of waiting and tons of delays, we finally got the Cuphead DLC. And while normal people stopped to breathe in how good the DLC was, I was increasing my ego every time I got a new subscriber. Oh yeah, and I got every achievement as well. And as promised, I am going to rank every DLC achievement. Sure, I could combine the new achievements with the ones in the main game, but I feel like the new ones were able to differentiate themselves enough from the oldies to a point where you can make a new and entirely distinct video about them. Oh yeah, and here's a quick update to my original achievement ranking video. So with that said and done, let's get every Cuphead Delicious Last Course achievement ranked, starting with the easiest. Number 14, Alive and Kicking. This achievement requires you to beat one boss using Miss Chalice. Just one. So you can just head on over to the Root Pack and turn the dirt-sucking potato into McDonald's French fries, the depressed onion more depressed, and the magical carrot, who must have a headache because he loves to rub his head a lot, into a Gerber Natural with vitamin C veggie power mixed carrot, apple, and coriander baby food. Number 13, the latest sensation. This achievement requires you to beat a boss using one of Pork Rind's new weapons. Or in other words, beat a boss using a weapon you get from the DLC. The only reason I ranked this higher is because you're pretty much forced against your will into beating up one of the king's challengers for coins, so you can afford the new weapons. And as easy as these parry bosses are, sometimes they can just get a teensy bit frustrating, but not rage-inducing. Or you could just talk to this newspaper cat thingy and he'll just give you his money. I wish that's how real life worked. Next, you have to beat any boss in the first 3 aisles, cause it doesn't seem to count in Inkwell Aisle 4. But this means you can just violently shoot down the Root Pack for a second time, which should be a piece of cake, even though some people are lactose intolerant and eating cake, which is a dairy product, is very hard for them. Number 12, the Golden Touch. This achievement requires you to beat a boss using Miss Chalice's super arts, which basically is just a reskin of the Porcelain Power achievement, which I already explained how to get in my every Cuphead achievement ranked video. For Miss Chalice, I like to do her third super art and use it on the last phase of Cagney Carnation, so that way, in case it doesn't kill him, you can just parry his flower thingamajigs until your super is charged. Also, pro tip, don't shoot while your super art is in session, because there's a chance your final attack might accidentally not be your super. Number 11, Decedent. This achievement requires you to beat 10 bosses with Miss Chalice. This means you can pick all the easiest bosses in the game. Pretty straightforward. Next! Number 10, A Horrible Night to Have a Curse. I bet by now you've already seen hundreds of tutorials on how to get to the secret boss. So I'm just gonna talk about that instead. Here we see the devil's personality sliced into two, good and evil, which is confusing on its own because the devil has a good side. It's the literal devil. The devil isn't really the nicest and most welcoming creature out there. But enough about that. The boss is pretty simple and a little frustrating, but once you figure out the mechanics, it's as easy as repeating a joke that was already not that funny to begin with. I'm referring to my piece of cake joke, by the way. Number 9, the hi-hat. This time you actually have to take careful consideration on what you're about to shoot, instead of just winging it. Basically, all you have to do is beat a boss without killing any of its minions. It sounds difficult, but it's really easy if you do the Esther Winchester boss on simple mode. There's only one minion you have to not shoot, and it's only in the first phase. And after you're done with it, you can easily just go through the entire boss. Shout out to this tutorial made by Mecha91 Productions, even though I will probably give them barely any more attention. It was very helpful and straight to the point. On to the next one. Number 8, Paladin. So after I completed the A Horrible Night to Have a Curse achievement, I went on over to try to beat every boss in Inkwell Owl 4 with the Cursed Relic Charm equipped. I did it with the Howling Aces, and then tried Mortimer Freeze, but he's really hard in my opinion, especially with just 1 HP. After so many deaths from that singular boss, I thought to myself, I don't think I can do this. I might have to cancel the DLC video. But then I realized two things. I'm an idiot, and don't always listen to the internet, because you don't need to beat every Inkwell Owl 4 boss. You can just beat 7 of the easiest bosses with the charm equipped and you'll be just fine. You lied to me, denofgeek.com. How could you? Man, I cannot deal with this honest mistake that I pretend to be such a huge betrayal. On to the next achievement. Number 7. Party. All you need to do is have 9 HP at one time. Oh yeah, and that genie who gives you extra hearts when you spin around like a little doofus does not count for that achievement, you cheater. Instead, you have to equip the Heart Ring charm and play the King Dice boss. Oh yeah, and make sure you also equip the Crack Shot weapon as well, so you can make your own parries whenever you use a card. And on top of that, make sure you roll the correct number on the die so you can get all those extra hearts. One last thing, do not get hit at all, or else you'll have to restart the entire boss and waste even more of your life that could have been spent on good causes for this world. But hey, it's not too difficult, it's just a little frustrating. Number 6. Checkmate. This achievement requires you to beat all of the King's champions. Like I said before, sometimes these bosses can just get a teensy bit frustrating, but not rage-inducing, which also connects to the next achievement on the list. Number 5. A King's Admiration. This achievement requires you to beat the King's Gauntlet, or in other words, beat all the parry bosses in a single sequence. I'd strongly recommend using Miss Chalice because her parry dash is very useful. And also, after every boss you complete, your HP resets to 4, which makes this achievement even easier. After you get the achievement, you also get a bonus prize. The king will give you, according to himself, the greatest gift of all. His admiration. Oh yeah, thanks a lot, you cheapskate. Number 4. A Vacation in the Wilds. All you have to do is beat every boss in Inkwell Owl 4, not including Chef Saltbaker. Number 3. Compliments to the Chef. All you have to do is beat every boss in Inkwell Owl 4, including Chef Saltbaker. I don't know if you also have to complete all of the King's challengers, but if so, don't worry. It'll be just as easy as finding Mr. Beast in your YouTube recommendations. Number 2. Cook to Perfection. This achievement requires you to get an S rank on one of the Inkwell Owl 4 bosses. Unfortunately, Inkwell Owl 4 doesn't have their own Goopy Le Grande, so I decided to get an S on what I think is the easiest boss in the DLC, the Howling Aces. You will need Crack Shot, Spread, Super Art 2, and the Astral Cookie charm equipped for the battle. In the first phase, you have to shoot the mascot of Mug Root Beer. He'll do 2 different attacks. The first will be him saving a choking cat and it'll spit out 3 yarn balls. If you crouch down, then you'll avoid all of them, but make sure you watch out for those tennis ball throwing puppies. The second attack will be him shooting doggy bones from his tattoos? 1 or 2 of those bones will be parryable, and you'll need to get 3 parries in total if you want to get an S. Speaking of parries, make sure you do a lot of those, because Chalice's second super art will be very useful for S ranking. Your super will make it so Chalice has an extra hit point. You won't actually gain HP, but it's more protecting the amount you currently have. So say I have 4 HP, and I use the super. This means the next time I get hit, I'll still have 4 HP, and losing HP will not count against your score, except when you have lower than 3 HP. After a while of shooting Mug Root Beer's mascot named Dog, I am not kidding, that's his literal name, his plane will explode and will be sent off to Brazil, and the next phase will begin. Oh yeah, and remember the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? Well, these idiot puppies will be disproving that fact because these letters deal damage to you. I now officially declare Cuphead, Mugman, and Miss Chalice little dumb wussies. But this phase isn't too hard. Just be careful what you parry because you might hit the dogs on accident. After spelling time ends, the flying robot dog will shoot lasers at you and you have to dodge them. Then when the screen flips, I pause my game, get my laptop, launch the Xbox Console Companion app, start streaming the game, and flip the laptop to match up with the boss fight's current angle so my screen looks normal. However, if you don't play on Xbox or don't have Xbox Console Companion, let me introduce you to something called neck pain. So for the next 20 more seconds of your life, you will be shooting and dodging until you old yeller this fool. Now hopefully, you beat this boss in 2 minutes or less, got 3 parries, had 3 or more hit points throughout the entire fight, and used 6 of your cards, because otherwise you won't get this achievement. And if you think this is hard, then yeah, you're right, I agree with you. But I wouldn't consider it the hardest achievement. Because that spot belongs to, drumroll please, I'm not doing this joke again, it's number 1, Ranger. This achievement requires you to get an A rank or higher on all the bosses in Inkwell Isle 4. I don't know if it's because I'm not familiar with these bosses or if they're actually hard, but these bosses are just very difficult for me, especially getting an A rank on all of them. Sometimes it's just a test to see if you can even beat the boss, because it's that difficult. I despise bosses like Chef Saltbaker and Mortimer Freeze, because they're harder than peeling pepperonis from a pizza without removing almost all of the cheese. Without a doubt, the hardest achievement to get in the DLC. Hi, Future Me here, just need to tell you a quick editor's note. Upon further consideration and playing more of the delicious last course, I have come to the conclusion that both Cooked to Perfection and the Ranger achievements are a tie for the hardest. They both have enough of their trouble-free parts and really tough parts, to a point where I cannot fully decide on which should be granted the number 1 spot, thus making it a draw. And yeah, that's it. That's really all there is to it. You know, I was expecting this to be a lot harder. But no, it only took me about 6 days to get all the achievements, as opposed to the months it took me to get the original ones. But there were only 2 achievements I consider to be difficult in the delicious last course. A huge amount of my new subscribers have come from my original Cuphead ranking video, so I know a lot of people might be asking me, is this the end of Cuphead content on my channel? Well, no. I think I might want to do a review for the Cuphead show when all the episodes come out. And as for the future of Cuphead and Studio MDHR, I can only wish for the best. I doubt there's gonna be a Cuphead sequel, but if somehow a miracle happens and we get a sequel, don't expect me to make another ranking video. Thanks for watching, and I want to take a nap. See ya.
I have learned my lesson well. It's better to bake in heaven than to cook in hell. I'm still the best tart maker in the land. My baking will bring cheer to my new friends whom I hold dear.